Colleagues, good morning. Morning, colleagues.
Morning.
Morning, Chair.
Good morning, Chairperson.
Morning, Chairperson.
Yeah, colleagues, allow me to come into this platform. We are today meeting once again on this platform, a virtual platform, Zoom Parliament, Zoom virtual platform, today, the 17th of February, 2026. We are going to be dealing with items as projected on the agenda and on your screens there. One will deal with the consideration of way forward on the petition by Ms. Mbuthuma from Amadiba community requesting the National Assembly to investigate their concerns regarding the N2 Wild Coastal Highway project. That's the first one. We'll also deal with consideration and adoption of report on the petition by Mr Cuthbert on behalf of the Daveyton Community. Reconsideration and adoption of the draft report of the Department of Transport, first and second quarter for expenditure. For consideration and adoption of the draft report on the Committee Oversight visit to the province of KwaZulu-Natal on the days of the 27th to the 30th of January 2027. And lastly, we'll consider and adopt a draft program for interviews for candidate of the Transport Economic Council, which is scheduled to take place on the 6th to the 7th of March. And then we'll finally do consideration of an adoption of minutes of proceedings. Valerie?
Good morning, Chair.
You are muted, Chair. You are speaking to yourself.
Can you hear me now?
Honorable.
Am I audible now? Someone's mic is on there. Yes, I was saying, colleagues, compatriots, these reports that are tabled before us here are products of our collective thought. Therefore, we need to input in them so that we close them and put them behind us in terms of those issues that need to be closed, especially with item number 1. You would remember, colleagues, we had a petition from these communities. We met with them and then we requested that they must have a discussion on the side with Sanral, and then we requested Honorable Nkompane to meet with these particular communities and mediate between them and Sanral. That task was carried, and today we have a report table before us. I'm not sure, Val, who's going to take us through the report and the recommendation so that we can then move forward with the item 1. In that order, as it pleases, Val.
The Deputy Minister, the Acting DG, Mr. Gama and Ms. Kobe. The report will be from Ms. Nkopane, who was the facilitator for those 3 sessions between Sanral and the ACC.
Ms. Nkopane?
Hello, good morning, Chair. The Minister, Deputy Minister, the members of the Portfolio Committee, and the technical support team led by Ms. V. Chair, to give the report, let me say, firstly, yes, we chose venues, but the first venue was not conducive for the ACC. Then they requested us to use a better venue like East London. Yes, on the second meeting, we opted for East London. However, it also disturbed us with the flights arrangements because there are just few flights that are going to East London. I'm raising this because I'm talking to the relevant portfolio committee that's dealing with transport and aviation. Chair, the report has been tabled and change the route of a road project without the approval from the Minister of Transport, given that they derive their funding from the Department of Transport budget allocation. SANRAL implements funded projects according to the planning cycle and budget received from the department. They also found that some Amadiba community members were already being part of the current beneficiation on the from the N2 highway projects as subcontractors. That means the number of the Amadiba Crisis Committee members that now are following up on these matters may have been limited to a certain extent because of the above explanation. Then also, the day before our last meeting, before the 3rd of December, we found that a certain person from Amadiba has written to Mail and Guardian newspaper an article dated 2nd December, which was explaining to the world that SANRAL must stop sabotaging engagement with the people of Amadiba. We didn't find that conducive for the meeting because we were in the middle and towards the end of the engagements, and the Mail and Guardian article from the very office of the Amadiba, the person that wrote there was a certain Mr. Brian Ashley, who is said to be the coordinator of the Alternative Information and Development Center of the Amadiba. So we found that even if we give them chance to meet with SANRAL, which they initially mentioned that SANRAL was refusing to meet with them or was dodging or avoiding meeting with them, that now a platform was created for SANRAL to meet with ACC. Now on the 2nd, an article was written. Then we said to them, we need to know, they must write and report to us why a person that is working in their offices could write such an article whilst we are handling their issues of coordination and engagements. And that is they wrote and submitted via an email their written response, and they are in a way distancing themselves from what Brian Ashley wrote, which to me I find it's not the true reflection of the issues, how they manage their own offices. Then SANRAL, during the engagements, indicated that they are willing to work with relevant authorities to prevent encroachment, which was raised as a major challenge, that there may be people that would like to get sites closer to the road, that would have a negative effect to the environment, this and that. And SANRAL responded to say the encroachment will be handled by SANRAL and the relevant bodies like the traditional leadership, because SANRAL doesn't allocate sites, neither the Amadiba ACC doesn't allocate sites. It's the traditional leadership and the municipality that deals with the issues of sites, looking also at the environmental impact assessment management issues. Then SANRAL mentioned that they account to various bodies like the Portfolio Committee on Transport, Treasury, and AXA on their projects and expenditure. So they don't just extend their work willy-nilly. They are directed by the department. Also, the ACC must improve their relationships with the ward councillor and municipal councils, because when I try to get to them, whether they sit in the IDP fora and all those representative forums that sit locally in the local municipalities as well as the district, we find that they don't participate. So we encourage them to sit in those bodies. And they mentioned initially on the first day that their relations were not sound with the municipality and the ward councillor, and they even mentioned the mayor, that they don't have good relations with the mayor. But when I made the final input on these relationships, then they said, no, there is misrepresentation, perhaps by the one that mentioned that is factually incorrect. No, we have sound relations with the councillors and the municipality. Then I said to them, they should go back and polish those relations, because we won't be sitting in those meetings if they had good relations with their local structures. Then Political Oversight Committee, that's what I emphasized with them, that there's a Political Oversight Committee established by the Premier of the province that ensures that gaps are closed if there are issues of personal interest by groups and individuals. That allows questions and doubts to be ironed out and address hindrances. Reports from the committee, that is the POC, are periodically presented to the Premier's Infrastructure Coordinating Council, the PICC. And this is relevant to process developmental initiatives. It is important to ensure the community views are captured in these provincial bodies. So before that provincial body, the PICC gets the report, they should be participating in the municipalities, the local and the district, to get their views taken across those structures. I also mentioned that from the presentations, there are no funds for the proposed inland route as requested by the petitioners, unless that can be attended to by the department itself, not SANRAL, neither us as the portfolio committee. Signed submissions from SANRAL, as I've mentioned earlier on, and the petitioners were presented and incorporated in the report above. There's a need to engage with that was raised by the petitioners, that you need to review these roads. We said that should be taken to the relevant offices, that is in the Department of Transport. But for now, SANRAL must continue and fast track the development in the Wild Coast development area. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. There you go. Honorable members, there is the report with the recommendations there. I want you to reflect on the recommendations, and then so that we can move for adoption of this report if we all agree that it should be a way forward. Honorable Ghana, Honorable Blose, Honorable Malmat. In that order, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Chair. So having listened to the report and went through the report, I don't think we have moved an inch from where we were the last time we had a meeting. It doesn't the standoff doesn't seem to have been resolved. So the attempt to resolve the issue doesn't seem there's no agreement, or at least it did not come through to say that all parties, because the final line when you are doing a mediation, the final line should be to say that all parties agree that this is the way to go. And of all the things that were said, there's an absence of that. So it's safe to say that the mediation did not succeed. So we note the work that has been done, the various steps that were taken to try to remediate the issue. But my reading of the situation is that the standoff between the parties remains. The mediation aspect did not succeed, and unless Honorable Nkopane will say that no, actually the parties in dispute at the end of the conversation they shake hand and agreed to say this is the way that things are going to proceed going forward. If that did not happen, Chair, we need to accept that the mediation efforts we have attempted to mediate, and that mediation did not succeed, and it should be recorded as such, because I'm not getting a sense that the mediation succeeded. We welcome the attempt to mediate, but the parties are still, none of the parties have left where they were before the start of the mediation. Unless, if I'm getting it wrong, Chair, Honorable Nkopane can come in and say parties moved from their position and they moved to the center, and with us characterize the mediation as a success. But I don't get that sense at all. Thanks very much.
Blossom. Honorable Malamacha.
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me start by welcoming the report, detailed report that took us step by step, the report that seeks to assess the situation. Part of what was supposed to happen was to clarify issues. And if you listen to the report clearly so, there are other things that cannot please everybody, but clarification can assist. The planned project and the route was clarified, and the stance of Sandral in terms of willy-nilly was clarified. So where I am, the report has clarified the situation on the ground. People need to obey or agree to be led. Because if we are to say there was no clarity, there was no agreement, it might not necessarily be accepting the efforts and what was supposed to be clarified to those who complained. Where I am the chair, I think the report needs to be adopted as it is, that There's been clarity in everything, and there's been agreement that the project will continue as it is. And those who were not accommodated are now welcome to be part in a form of community participation are there. And I'm also happy that those that, when they realized that they are losing the focus, they opted to this kind of threat. And it was not done violently. It was done in a very good way that such will be taken care by those who do thorough investigations. It means there's no violence, there's no fight, then that will be dealt with. But that does not mean that it will deviate, it will change anything. Where there was no clarity, it has been clarified. I stand with the report to say, let's adopt the report as it is, that the project is not going to deviate, no one has got harm, there's no appeal. If they were saying, there were those who said they showed dissatisfaction, I would say it did not achieve. To me, it has achieved, Chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I don't see any hand. Honorable Onsing, I want to say something. Who's there? Who's next? Okay. No, thanks. Ms. Nkopan, you want to say something before we summarize on what must happen?
Thank you, Chair, for this opportunity. Yes, Chair. As Honorable Ghana is raising this matter, Honorable Malimacha has answered it the way I wanted to deal with it. That the issue of the policy and mandate of SANRAL was clearly tabled during the engagements. And also the community focus and participation within the existing projects, that is Msikaba and Mtendo bridges, and the access roads that are being constructed in that vicinity. Now the communities are benefiting from those. So that's what I wanted to say, Chair. And also the directive to say ACC should bring forward the reports on the threats and also participate in the relevant structures of development at local level. We are trying, Chair, to diffuse perhaps the issue of people and groups out there that would think they can go directly to Parliament and influence changes or whatever directly with Parliament, ignoring their roots and structures that they are supposed to work with. That is why the constitution of the country and our rules in Parliament have given space for public participation, petitions, and all that, but not to change the already given mandate for SANRAL. So that's what I wanted to add, Chair. Otherwise, if they participate with those relevant bodies, then everything would be fine. Then their last point was to say, now, after these explanations that they have, that SANRAL has given to the ACC, they will now be happy if they could see SANRAL visit the Amadiba community. That was their final request on this matter. Thank you, Chair.
No, thanks very much. I think first and foremost, let's appreciate the comments from both Honorable Ghana and Honorable Malmacha, but also appreciate the work you have done, Honorable Nkopan, on our behalf of trying to mediate. Also appreciate the participant, both the group and the South African National Road Agency Limited for having participated in the process. We are more clearer now in terms of what's happening and what should be our stance as we move forward. Well, would have wished that by the time the meeting ended, the parties would have all agreed, but the most important aspect of your visit was to have those particular discussion between the two and synthesize and get what is the sense and be able to make recommendation to us. We are now noting this report, and then when we finalize our report on this particular matter, we're taking it for consideration. So for when we finalize our report for adoption to the NA, we'll take to consideration the work that we have done and you have done on our behalf on this regard. So I think less than of the report, we will then use this to finalize our final report to the National Assembly. And we really appreciate the work you have done, Mr. Kopan. Thanks very much. So the matter is closed on this particular matter. We'll generate our own formal report for tabling.
Chair, could I ask a question? Chair, it's Malcolm Campbell here of the technical team for ACC. Chair,
yes,
just will we be getting a copy of the report? We haven't had sight of it as yet. We've spent a considerable amount of time participating in the meetings with Samuel, and we'd like to have sight of this report. And then secondly, will we have an opportunity to respond to the report for presenting either back to this committee as well as to the National Assembly? If you could please clarify that for us. Thank you.
This is what is going to happen, Mr. Malcolm Campbell. From here, we're going to generate, this is a source information for us. From here, we're going to generate our committee report, which we'll share with both yourself and Sandra. And then from there, if you want to make any input to that particular, to say something to that particular report, you are welcome to say anything that you want to say in between now and us finalizing that report. If out of this there is something that you think you still want to bring to our attention that might be not been covered in the report, you are free to also send your own report. But by the time we finalize our report and adopt it, it will be a final report, and we circulate it to yourself and to Sandra.
Okay. So, Chair, if I may, what is the deadline? When are you likely to finalize so that we can get our response in before then?
We can give you until next week, Tuesday, for you to finalize your own input.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair.
I must be clear, you're not going to get the report of Ms. Nkopane. That is her report to us. If you want to raise something with us, you can as well raise if you think there are things that you think you need to clarify. Okay. After that, we're going to sit with our source information, and that information of yours can assist us in reaching our report. But from there, we'll adopt our own report, table it in the National Assembly, and move forward.
Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. This report is noted for consideration into our report. And thanks once again, Ms. Nkopane, for the great work you have done for us. And then let's now move to the next item.
The next item is on the report on the Daveyton petition. This report, the draft that was considered by the committee last year, was sent to the PC on police for further input, and none were received. I will assume, Chair, now that the report is ready for adoption. The response time for the PC on police was last year in the end of November, Chair.
Okay, that information is noted. Kindly take us through the report, especially on the recommendations part.
Morning, Chair and members. Flighting the report. So since we didn't get any input from police, the report is the same as it was presented to the committee when we considered it last. So just as a refresher, I'm going to go down to the observations and recommendations. So we had observations at Daveyton Station. So Chair, I'm just flighting this. I'm not going to go through this word for word since we've already gone through this. We had observations at the Boksburg Bridge, at Apex Traction Substation, and then the recommendations on the number 8. So it's that subcontractor issue that we highlighted for PRASA. Progress on the insurance claims, sorry, especially regarding the bridge. Passenger numbers for the corridor. Quarterly reports on progress at that corridor. Recovery of stations along the full corridor, and then security being rolled out to protect the stations. And then that the department must assist the entity for any funding and budget shortfalls that they need, because they did indicate that they do need additional budget to make sure that those stations are recovered to 100% operation, Chair. So it's that is the end of the report, Chair. Thank you.
Go down a bit on recommendation. Go down, go up a bit. Okay. Up. Want to see number 3 and 2, 2 and 3. Yes, okay. I'm happy from my side. Any input, colleagues?
I'm happy with the report, but I think it's something that we need to keep an eye on, and I think Honorable Malemaja, it's closer to his constituency. If he can, on an ongoing basis, check if there's anything happening, and when we get Sandral, let the update on this be there, and we keep them responsible or maybe accountable to the deadlines that they had set, because July 2026 is 4 months away from now. That's what we are looking at. So is there something really happening in that space? Thanks, Chair. But otherwise, I'm happy with the report.
Thank you very much.
I will move that we accept it.
Thank you. Can I get a seconder? Seconder to the report.
I second, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kopane. The report is adopted. Next report. Thanks to Honorable Ghana and Honorable Kopane. The report is accepted and adopted as a report of the committee. And you are, Honorable Ghana is right. We need to put a closer look continuously on this particular report. The implementation thereof. If you can put another report.
Yes, Chair and members, the follow-ups are definitely going to come. We were working on some changes to the program for this term and also talking about next term. If we do not get a meeting scheduled with PRASA before this term ends, we will see them for the strat plan and APPs, and the passenger numbers and follow-ups on our reports are definitely included in there. The next report, Chair and members, is the committee's report on the department's first and second quarter expenditures. We received those presentations in November as well. So it's just the date was 18 November when we had those. General introduction on why we do consider these types of reports. The analysis of the first quarter expenditure, members would have seen this also from Dr. Ngezi's research notes as well as the presentation. So it just highlights all the figures and the information on where they were slow to get their expenditure done, vacancy issues, and some delays within the first quarter. This is also the first year we see information regarding the work by Program 8. Members will recall that Program 8 was introduced in the 2025-26 APP of the department. Then the second quarter expenditure follows the same line. The committee observations, pulled this from the meeting and the minutes. Again, this is where we request those updates on the PTNG grant. We mentioned specifically at eThekwini, and now we've already gone to the municipality to look at that. And since we had the expenditure presentations, the announcement of the wind down of the grant has also come. So that meeting is scheduled within this term. There was just a request to move that meeting to after the budget engagement. So we'll adjust the program accordingly. Then also roads that have been transferred to Sunroll were noted, and that this is done without the funding allocation that goes with the PRMG. PRMG's calculation follows a different formula from Treasury, so that money doesn't automatically follow the road when it's transferred to Sunroll. But that was just noted out of the questions. Some issues on the vacancies at CBRTA were noted. Signaling challenges with PRASA was also highlighted in the discussion, and the underspending in the rail program was raised there by members. The card license printing machine issue with the DLCA, even though the machine was operational, again, we've also now been time and facts have overtaken our adoption of the report because the court matter regarding the tender for the machine has been finalized. So we're also recommending, which we'll discuss in Manco, a separate meeting with the DLCA just to get feedback on where they are at this point in time. Road accident fund issues that were highlighted. The representation, female representation on the SMS level for the department having been noted. Details for statistics from the RTMC. Underspending in the IPT program. And explanations asked on the expenditure or lack of expenditure for the National Transport Planning Database. The committee recommendations from this report is that we need to get the quarterly reports on the PTNG grant. Members will see this is in our budget reports as a recommendation. It's in our BRRR reports as well as a recommendation. So we just continue that. But as we indicated, we did need that meeting about the scaling down of the grant. Sunroll must also provide quarterly reports for the roads that have been transferred. We've also requested this in the past, so it's another request there from them. And the quarterly reports from the DLCA has also been requested, and they work with the government printing works. And road accident fund, we've had another meeting again with them, similar request there about the appointments and their disciplinary procedures. They need to apply with the policies and good governance practices and principles. This issue about policies at the RAF is also going to be in the scope of RAF inquiry report. The department and its entities must provide quarterly reports on the board and executive management for the various entities. We also request this several times. Then quarterly reports from PRASA is also required on the operationalization of their corridors and stations. And that the department must ensure all their programs who fell behind in the spending for these 2 quarters are able to catch up and that they meet their targets. So, Chair and members, that's the first and second quarter expenditure report for consideration and adoption. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Straightforward. Thank you a lot, Alma, and thanks for the great work that you guys together with colleagues they are doing in terms of the quality of our reports. Members, there you go. Any comment on this one? Number one, Honorable Malmato.
Thank you very much. Indeed, I read the report. I'm happy with it. I suggest we adopt it.
Thank you, Honorable Kobe.
Thank you very much, Chair. I've also went through the report. I think it's a true reflection of what had transpired. I move that we second it. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, the report is duly adopted as set for reflection and a report of this committee for tabling to National Assembly. Thanks very much. Next report.
Chair, apologies. The committee has its full complement today. So can we please have one of the full-time members to second the adoption?
Oh, okay, Ms. Kobe is not full-time.
I'll second the report. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
Pastor.
Honorable.
Ghana.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kobe, for always being available and even if you are not a full-time member, but thanks a lot for that. Thanks, Ghana, for helping. Thanks very much. Well, the next report is the oversight visit. I'm going to propose, colleagues, that we remove this report for tabling today, because you remember, as a sequel to this, we're supposed to first have engagement with both the department and treasury before we could finalize this particular report. So I think we would have jumped the gun if we tabled this report before. I'm not sure. Valerie, if you wanted to say something first, maybe let me allow you to come in.
Yes, Chair, that was my suggestion. The meeting with National Treasury was originally going to be on the 24th. After discussions with National Treasury's PLO last week, a request was forwarded for the committee to amend this date because the budget is going to be tabled on the 25th, and that would have been the day before. So, Chair, we were going to suggest the 3rd of March for this meeting to take place. So hopefully members can consider that this report can then be placed before the committee again for consideration after this meeting has taken place. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Well, the request from the department is understandable that because they're tabling a budget, maybe we may want to give them that space. But I would agree that for now, let's not say on the 3rd. Let's simply say this report will serve before us after the engagement with Treasury and the department. Does that suffice? Valerie?
That is fine, Chair. That is fine from a support staff perspective. Thank you.
Is there another report that we need to table next? TEC?
All right, I'll come before we close, Chair.
Sure,
that Valeria has just shared. Thanks.
Okay.
Not me on any other business.
Come again?
I'm saying not me on any other business.
Oh, okay. No, it's fine. You are noted. Let's take the other report is the TEC report, isn't it?
Okay. Chair, a draft program for the interviews was shared with members, just to also alert members to the dates. There are 19 candidates, and on average, with 90 minutes allocated to each candidate, it will take the committee 3 full days, Chair, to do these interviews. On the draft program, Chair, we approach a clustering of the candidates in terms of the qualifications and experience. The proposed dates, Chair, have been shared with the candidates. so that they can plan their diaries. And already there were 2 that indicated that they might have to, that they are not available on certain dates. So even though there is a clustering approach, it may have to change based on the availability of some of the participants shared. That is just a matter that came up, but the dates are, Chair, 6 to 8 March.
Anything, members? These members who are saying they are not available, on which dates are they available? And what is the implication for our process?
Chair, for example, we haven't indicated the exact time yet. So there is still time to negotiate with maybe another candidate that would have been on the Saturday to come on the Friday. So there are, out of the 19, there are 2 already because they are in court on those days and they can't change it. So there is still leeway to change the dates around, but it might move them out of their specific clustering. So if a person is with legal, they might have to come just before the committee deals with the economics or the transport cluster. That is the only thing, Chair.
Yeah,
But,
look,
we need to.
What must happen is that between the 6 and the 8, we're concluding this process. The juggling around, you can play around it and then you'll justify it to us. If there's a person who is supposed to interview under legal, you are able to replace him and get someone under, it shouldn't be fixated in that particular manner so that we don't have much of problem. Because on this weekend, we should be able to finish. Is that fine?
Noted, Chair.
Thank you. I don't think we must labor this one much unless colleagues want to say something, but I don't think we must labor it much. It is as it is.
Just
yes, with that. Yeah.
I see that we are budgeting 90 minutes for the interaction. Is that not a bit much? I mean, like, why is 90 minutes the standard required, or we can have the interview for an hour? Does Parliament put the restriction that it must be 90 minutes? Like, I'm asking, what will be happening in 90 minutes? Like, surely we can do these questions in an hour. Just to get a sense there, because I see even the ones for this weekend, we are putting a 90-minute conversation.
Chair.
Chair,
I would think the 90 minutes was in consideration of Honorable Ghana. So if he is the one who's then proposing a shorter time, he might then hold this discipline. Because this 90 minutes is for him, to benefit him, Chair.
Benefit him how?
Bloss.
Is the one.
Wait, Honorable Ghana, wait. Honorable Ghana, wait. Bloss, what are you saying, Honorable Ghana? Honorable Bloss.
Chair, I think they are joking, Chair.
Please, colleagues, okay, it's fine. No, it's fine. I get what you are saying. Let me get to Valdre. Valdre, can you assist here in terms of the time? 90 minutes maybe.
Advocate now will respond. Her hand has been raised.
Chair and members, thank you very much. Chair, there are 12 questions that we've drafted per candidate. We need to give them 5 minutes to respond to each of the questions. Some of the questions they can respond to faster, so then we will make up time. But other questions, they will need a bit more time to feed in and respond to. So, Chair, there's a time limit for the members to ask the questions that we've set, that we've drafted, and there's a time limit for the candidates to respond. Within the 90 minutes, what we've also provided for is a an overall assessment by the members, the 5 minutes for us as staff to collect and correlate members' scoring and their interview papers so that we can factor everything in so that we know if there is an issue with possible scoring not having been done for a specific question, we can just clarify this with members before we get the next candidate in. So the 90 minutes has been worked out in that way so that we can get the whole process done and get our scoring done, because we have very limited time. Members will see in the program the Tuesday directly after the weekend of the interviews is when we want to adopt the report. So the team